It's not often you run across people that you bond with, that are really introspective and are empathic listeners and care passionately about other people. But I got to tell you, Joe White is one of those people, and I've had the pleasure of working with him. And I sat down with Joe for a discussion about his passion. He was a coach for many years, his mentality about coaching, and how he's brought that into his practice as a Vistage chair. And I just love this guy and could talk with him for hours. You're going to get some great takeaways from this. Let's go jump into my discussion with Joe White. Everybody, thanks for jumping on Giant TV. I'm Paul Hitchcock. I'm the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media, helping people to grow and nurture their businesses. Really excited to have Joe White on here with me, who is a Vistage chair, a true gentleman, if I can say that, Joe. And just a great guy. We've gotten to know each other. Thanks, Joe, for being here.
Yeah, it's good. This is going to be fun. I appreciate you having me on, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe, you're in Colorado. You're a Vistage chair, and so I, want to jump into, why did you become a Vistage chair, and what's the passion surrounding what you're doing there?
Yeah, I became a Vistage chair. I was nominated, and I was actually a teacher and a coach for 30 years, and just love serving people. I love helping people. Supporting people, guiding people, and empathizing with people to help them grow and progress. And when I retired, I was kind of lost. I wanted to be able to do the same type of thing. And fortunately, somebody nominated me to be a Vistage chair, which gives me that opportunity to do the same thing. It's a lot of coaching. It's a lot of supporting people and helping people grow and progress. And it's just been a very rewarding experience for me. I say it's coaching at a different level for me, and
Right.
and that's really what it's been for me. So it's just been really rewarding.
Yeah, and I know, Joe, you and I have had a lot of offline conversations about sports. You being a coach, I love
Yeah.
sports. You coached all of my kids, and I know you did the same. But you have a saying that I've stolen from you, is "win the process." I love that, and I know that plays out in how you're building your group, right? I mean, it's not easy, but you're building, you're getting in front of people, and it's a passion, so you're making it happen.
Yeah, it is win the process. I used to tell my players all the time that my job as a coach was to try to help you not have regret 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from when you played for me. And it's no different than in real life, to be honest with you. It's about winning the process. Once you set your goals and your aspirations, you better have a process in place to achieve those. And if you win the process and don't achieve the goal, you're still going to feel okay. You're not going to have regret. If you don't achieve the goal because you didn't win the process, that's when you're going to have regret. So setting up your processes and sticking to them. They can change, every once in a while. Certain things aren't working or whatever, but your process is where it's at. And you want to give everything you can to the process. You might set a process to have a revenue of $1 million this year, and you get to $999,000 and you're $1 short, but you did everything possible that you set up in your process. You're okay because you're progressing, you're growing, and you're getting better. And you stuck to your process, and you won the process, and that's what we're looking for my members to do. I want my members to be the standard bearers in their industry. I want them to be unique. I want people to we're not a group. We're a team. As you can see in my background, it's Grand Mesa team.
Yeah.
The Grand Mesa is one of the highest flat top mesas in the world. It's in Grand Junction, Colorado, and it gives flat top gives us a lot of room up there for all of our members to be on top and have the competition looking up at us, because we're unique and we're special in the way we do things, and try to help our members set up processes for their goals and aspirations in their business. And part of my job is one of my main jobs really is to make sure they stick to those processes and hold them accountable for it.
Yeah, and it's great, Joe. You mentioned the team, and it really is. I mean, I want to give us a little bit of insight, because everyone gets together for your group monthly basis. I know that's awesome, right? I mean, I've heard you share stories. It truly is collaborative, but talk a little bit about what happens there and how that collaboration works.
Well, for me, a group is really just a bunch of people standing around waiting in line at a grocery store.
Right.
A team is people who care about each other, support each other, empathize with each other, respect each other, and realistically just want to see and help each other do well. And they're happy for each other's successes. And that's what we're trying to build. It's been really rewarding for me to see a lot of my team working with each other outside of our meeting times and spending a little time with each other during those times. A couple of them are playing golf together, and a couple of them have met over different ways they use HubSpot and some other different ways that they're helping each other. And that's really rewarding to me, because that's when you really know that you have a strong team working, when they're willing to work with each other a little bit outside of our meeting times.
Right. Yeah. And I imagine that one of your roles is really to foster that environment, right, where people are talking. I mean, do you feel like that is something that you got to focus on for yourself?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's what you're the chair for. I mean, I call myself the coach of the group.
Yeah.
And I got to foster those relationships, and I've got to make them stronger and come up with different ways during our meeting times to have some more ways for them to get to know each other even at a deeper level. And that's really what it's about. And really fostering that environment of that support, help, and guidance. And like I said before, Paul, I just think it's so important that each one of our team members is excited for each other when they're doing well. And that's something that we want to foster.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you got to support in the challenging times, but also when good things are happening is when you want to high five and support each other. And in those meetings, Joe, I mean, the value comes from people really opening up and being vulnerable in those meetings, right? Because those are, you're dealing with type A personalities, leaders, great people that can't always be open in the work environment, with management, but they can come into your environment. And if they let it loose, it's powerful.
It's really powerful. I tell people that all the time. The power of a peer group is amazing to me. Watching these business leaders work together, when a lot of them, feel kind of lonely at the top within their own company. But when we get together in our meetings and we shut that door, and the vulnerability happens, it's pretty amazing to watch. And it's pretty amazing to watch them step up to help each other, and how important it is for them to not only get value from the other members, but really how important it is to give value to the other members. Right. I have a saying that you find your purpose when your purpose is greater than yourself. And that's what we try to talk about a little bit in our meetings, is how can you help the next person, and how can you help the person get to the next level? And if you're somebody that can leave a legacy with someone else, I was talking to another chair this morning. They call it being a footnote in someone else's life. This gives you an opportunity to do that, and that's a really rewarding experience for our members.
Oh, I bet. And Joe, the industries and the people that you work with, I mean, what are you looking for? There.
Realistically, any industry, gives us value. Right. We all have different backgrounds and ideas and so forth. So as many different industries as we can get gives us more value. And what I'm looking for is a growth-minded person, somebody that doesn't think they know it all, somebody that wants to grow and progress and get better on a daily basis. I have a saying that, I was a baseball and football coach, but baseball to me is one of the greatest games because it never had a clock to stop it until now. I guess they have the pitch clock and everything now, but I say the same thing for progression and growth. There's no clock that's going to stop it. You can always keep growing and you can always keep progressing. And that's really who I'm looking for. Somebody that doesn't think they have all the answers, that's still searching for different answers and different ways of doing things, and are willing to try different things, and just has a perspective of, a big heart to help others.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And then you're doing the one-to-ones too. You have those group meetings and then the one-to-ones where you actually go and you're face-to-face with each member. What goes on there? I mean, are you just getting into the weeds there?
Yeah, we really are. It's really rewarding. I was just telling somebody this morning how rewarding it is when I walk out of a one-to-one. It's my time to help that person reflect and think, and go over how things are going and what they've done and how they've done it and what's worked and what hasn't worked. And to get them to reflect on those things is really a powerful moment for these leaders, because it gives them a chance to kind of just step out of their role for a little bit and just kind of be real for a little bit. And it's
Right.
about an hour and a half to 2 hours most of the times. And it's just fun to do, to be honest with you, because it's a one-to-one situation where I'm just working with that particular business leader, and the reflection, the perspective that they gain and stuff is really rewarding.
Do you go in with an agenda, Joe, of stuff you're talking about, or is it just open-ended? You go in and it's what's happening.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of more open-ended. I do have certain questions that I'll ask at certain times and so forth, but it's kind of like, I know, Paul, I do a podcast. It's when I do a podcast, the only question I have scripted is the first one, where I ask the person to just tell us where they're from and how they do things, and what influenced them, and then we take it from the heart.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I like to do things, because I think that's where it's more powerful. But I do have questions. There's times where I need to know some answers for certain things, and to see where these people are at and kind of hold them to the fire, per se. So I do have certain questions sometimes for them, but we'll take it where it needs to go.
Yeah. And you've got to be an empathic listener. Is that a fair statement, Joe?
Big time. Yeah. I have a saying that you need to learn to listen so you can listen to learn. And anytime that you're coaching, whether it's in athletics and business, one-to-one coaching, whatever it is, you better be a listener first. And you better be, I think as a coach, sometimes what we do, or as a leader, sometimes we're always trying to fix things. So a lot of times when someone's talking to us, we're already trying to figure out how we can fix it for them, how we can coach them on it, instead of listening all the way through to when they're done. And it's really important that we listen all the way through to everything that they're saying, so then we can actually help them reflect back on what they're saying and ask them questions, and the pertinent questions that's going to help them through their issue or their opportunity.
I think it's a lost art today, is the art of conversation. People,
Big time.
they just talk at each other. And I just know when I meet new people, I'm standing in a circle, 99% of the time, no one's asking you questions about yourself. People are just spouting things about themselves like this outward. No one's got the ears on. It's interesting. So when you say, you focus on that, it's an invaluable trait to have.
Yeah, well, here's the thing for me, and this is the suggestion I give people: be intrigued by people.
Yeah,
People all have their own story, their own ways of doing things, and how they got to where they get to. They all have they're all special in their own special way. Find out what it is. Be intrigued by it. It's so interesting when you just sit and listen to people actually tell us where they're from, what they're doing. When you get out of a meeting, you should know way more about them than they know about you. And what that means is you're just listening to them and you're understanding them. You're intrigued by them. You're learning from them. You're growing from them. And that, if you take it with that type of attitude, I think you'll listen better.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I noticed that about you. I mean, you and I have gotten, know each other a bit, and you've got that naturally, that curiosity about people. I know that. So yeah, I think that's what makes you special. And but it's hard to come by.
It is. It's especially for leaders, because we want to fix, right? We want to coach. if someone's telling me they got a problem or they need help fixing a problem or whatever, what's my first inclination? My first inclination is I want to jump in right now and fix it. And I want to jump in right now and tell you how to fix it and coach you and do all those things. And I might have missed so much of what you said to me because my mind is thinking about how I can fix it for you instead of listening all the way through. A lot of times when you listen all the way through, they're kind of processing it themselves. And that's when you can help guide them to process it themselves. And when they process it themselves, guess what? They own it. And when they own it, they're going to fix it.
I think that's great what you said, because I was thinking actually of my 4 kids and all the guiding them, and they're principles of you can tell somebody what to do, or you can let them come to the conclusion by the way you handle that conversation, which is what you alluded to. And it's just a much more powerful way, because if they feel like they own the solution because they got there, even though you knew where you wanted it to go, I think is insanely productive.
Yeah, it's the way to do it. It's called being present, right? When you start thinking of ways that you can help them, coach them, fix them, whatever, now you're not present. Yeah. And when you're not present, they pick up on that as well. And then they get nervous. And then all of a sudden your communication gap is getting wider. And then them listening to you when you have something to say back to them after they're done, they're probably not going to be very present with you either, because they didn't feel like you were very present with them.
Yeah.
And just be present, just be patient, be present, and listen and learn.
And Joe, when you find somebody you're interested in bringing into the group, I know you've got a VIP group there, or you don't want to screw up the balance of the group. But what do you do? I mean, do you invite them to come over and meet the other leaders in there? And how do you do that?
Yeah, I think that's the best way. What I've been doing lately is doing an introduction with them and one of our or 2 of our members. Then just suggest that they have coffee or a quick Zoom call, right? Whatever it might be. And that's been really productive for us, because then it also empowers our team in terms of our team is helping us grow, not just me. Yeah. And I think when we empower our teams to help us grow, again, that's more powerful. And it's a good way for the new members or potential new members to really get a feel for what our team is and how our team works. Okay. And I have so much confidence in the team members that we have on our CE team and our TA team that I get really excited when I introduce them to them, because I know once a potential member meets the person on our team, because our team members have that big heart, that servant's heart, and the growth mindset and everything, that they're going to be really, be honest with you, looking forward to joining our team after they meet our team.
Yeah. And you've got the chief executive team, and the TA you reference is the trusted advisor.
Right. Yeah.
And the trusted advisor is who exactly?
Well, the trusted advisors are like business consultants, accountants, personal finance people, bankers, lawyers, people who basically advise CE members or consult with CE members, business owners, entrepreneurs, and so forth. So what we're trying to do is build a team between our CE group, which is our CEOs, business owners, and our trusted advisor group, so that we're kind of one big team. Right. So if someone in my CE group needs, a financial advisor, well, I have one in my trusted advisor group, and you can trust them because we're Vistage members, and Vistage members are kind of, be honest with you, are special people, and so you can trust them, and vice versa. If a trusted advisor member needs something from one of my CE members, we're a team, and we're working together with each other and helping each other. And I really love that aspect of this. It's all about being a team.
Yep. No, very tight. And I want to tell everyone listening that got to get connected to Joe. Great guy. He's got a great network. And wherever you're watching this, because we're going to live stream this everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Joe's contact information is either up here, down here, or on the side. But get connected with Joe, and and love to have you back on, Joe. Obviously, I mean, love to track your progress and keep it going, but this is great information. You and I could talk forever. So
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Love it, Joe. Great stuff.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for having me on. And I will say this, it has been really a joy in my life to work with you. And I'm not saying that just because you're on here. It's been a lot of fun to work as a team with you, and you've been very helpful and supportive of me and my practice. And I can't thank you enough for all you've done. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, appreciate the kind words, Joe. Yeah. Well, I know you and I will be talking again soon. So
Yeah.
Thanks, my man. We'll see you soon.
All right, Paul. Thanks. Have a great day, buddy.
Okay.
Bye-bye.